y'all, this is Cyndee. I'm the tireless tangler, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being with me today. We are starting a new series today I am calling Tangle Time. It is going to be a Zentangle Drawing Experience. It's going to be very similar in format to what we did in the 100 Days project. We are with a few tweaks. I'm going to attempt to post these every day for 5 days a week and then take the weekends off. We will see how that goes. I will have to watch the analysis of everything to decide what the best thing to do is, but I know that would make a lot of you happy. The second thing is we will not be trapped by monotangles. We will be bringing in extra tangles all the time. And I'm going to be teaching you new tangles. The other thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to be choosing a string from tangle patterns each time. And I'll be demonstrating the string on the tile. However, if you're a person that needs a visual guide for this, there is a tab at tanglepatterns.com that said strings, okay? And if you scroll down there, on that list, 008 shows up and you'll be able to find it. And I'll always list this on the back of the tile. Okay? So today's tangle that we're going to learn is a beautiful one. It is called Nayu. It is by Emiko Kaneko. She is Japan's CZT, or at least one of the CZTs in Japan. It was cool because a lot of her students were in class with me at CZT training. CZT is Certified Zentangle Teacher. So let's get started on this. This is Nayu, and I hope that I can do a little bit better rendition on our tile, but I sort of squished this one in on this bijou tile. This is a gorgeous, 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 dramatic tangle. So let me show you how it goes. This is based on Celtic knot, and it actually happened while she was doing a Celtic knot. Right, so Nayu is a focal point tangle, and it works extremely well in a square, although I suppose you could take it out of that. All right, so on this bijou tile, I'm just drawing in a border that's pretty narrow, close to the edge, and I'm using my pencil for that. Hopefully you guys can see this well. Okay. And that's all of the border or string that we're going to do. A focal point tangle frequently takes up most of the room, so we're going to give that a try. We're going to start by putting teardrop shapes in here. We're going to put in 4, and they are going to point in towards the center. Now, because this starts as a Celtic knot, I want to give you a couple of tips as we go so that you will have better success. All right, so the first thing is we're going to want to draw these in and leave a small gap between the string line or the border line or the edge of the tile, depending on how you've decided to set it up. We're going to want to leave we're going to want to leave a space here so that we have room to draw a string line or an additional line above what we're doing, okay? So let me give you an example. Not too big, but I've left a nice space, okay? Now, as I have this here, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to leave the same amount of space, and I want to make sure that my points are lined up directly across from each other. This is really important, okay? Same thing here. We're going to do these in a cross shape. We're going to leave that little bit of space here, like this. And the same thing directly across, and leave a bit of a space. Now, these are clearly different sizes, and if I felt like it was necessary, I would fix that, but I don't think it's going to matter in the end. So, okay. The first step here, Emiko leaves a gap here and then connects a line here, and then draws another line around it, and I'll show you here in a minute. And in the step out, it looks like she's fairly close in here to this point. But when I tried it that way, I ran into an immediate problem when I hooked my last link up. So let me show you what I've decided to do, and I think this will make it easier for everybody. I'm just going to put a small short tail about the size of the width of the ribbon that I'm going to want to use, and about the same width as we have here. Okay, so not real big. Then I'm going to make another arid line. This can be, again, thick or thin as you will, like this. And if you will keep these two lines short, that will help you coming up. All right, now I've got my end here a little bit too low down, but we're going to make this work. What we're going to do is we're going to hook up this internal line right there, okay, so that it curves right up to the end of the next loop. Then we're going to bring this one, which I sort of curved in accidentally. I'm going to bring this one up. Trying to be consistent. And right here, we're going to again connect the point to the internal point here. You know, try to make it a pleasing line. Do the best you can. Sometimes they get wonky, and there's not a lot you can do about them, but just do your best. And it may take a couple of times drawing this through before you feel comfortable. Remember that I have drawn a lot of Celtic knots, and this is, in its essence, a very simple Celtic knot. I believe this is like a clover knot or something like that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. And there you have it. Okay. Now, excuse me. Where we started, if we had extended these lines too far down, we would have had a problem getting this entire width in here, right? And I didn't really do a good job there either, but it doesn't matter. Now, I didn't leave myself much room here in the middle, but what Emiko has is a little orb that's in the middle, and hopefully yours has a little bit more room in there. Okay. And then she draws, in each of these little gaps, she draws a little sort of a flower motif. She puts an orb that touches all the sides in. Like this. And she draws some flower petal shapes. And these are going to extend all the way out and touch the string or the border edge. Yes. Just like this. Now, in Emiko's examples, these were sort of fat. I think I got this a little too narrow in here, but we can still make this work. I think you'll be surprised, by how dynamic this turns out in the end. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it, saw Linda Farmer's example of it. And we got to put our little flowery things, flower flicks in. Try not to make this one so wide at the base. That one looks like a baseball bat, doesn't it? But I think this is still going to be pretty forgiving. I hope on the tile that we do, you'll get a better example of this. Put 2 or 3 in. I think on her examples, Emiko has a long one and then 2 short ones to the side. But as you can see here, it's really going to depend on the room that you have, what you can do in there. So just, adjust. So this is basically the tangle. Now, Emmy has these inked in, but you wouldn't have to. But the effect is quite dramatic. Gives it a very dark sort of, I don't know how I would want to describe it. It's a sort of a dark, intense look, and that really appeals to me. Of course, you know, I'm me, and you may feel differently about that. I tend to like the denser, more dramatic looking patterns. Not everybody feels that way, and that's all right. Zentangle has something for everyone, which is awesome, isn't it? Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I want to remind you all, if you do not want to miss any of these videos, make sure that you are subscribed. I know that only half of you guys that watch me are subscribed. That's fine if you don't want to subscribe. Of course, you don't have to. But when I announce live streams and things like that, if you're not subscribed with the notification bell hit, then you may not know that they're going on until it's too late. So just a little reminder. Here we go. All right. Now I didn't extend these out far enough, these petals right here. I'll put a little hat on them, sort of make that look more uniform. And, you know, I've got a mistake, or I mean an opportunity here, and there you go. And with all opportunities, if you can repeat them, so much the better. Just like that, we have something interesting. Now this is my own little embellishment here. We had finished the tangle before I started this, and I apologize, I should have made a deal out of that. But this is basically, whoops, forgot some, didn't I? This is basically, without the little tip thing, this is basically Nayu. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful pattern, and I hope that I can do it a bit more justice in our tile. Let's get started with that right now. Let's see what we can do with this. So for today, we're going to want to use a string 008 from Tangle Patterns. But before I do the string, I'm going to draw a border. Now, in traditional Zentangle fashion, we usually put a dot, a pencil dot. Let me zoom just a little bit in, and I'll make these a little bit darker for you. In each of the four corners. And then today, normally I make it curvy and loopy, but for today we're going to keep this pretty standard straight. Okay? Or in my case, straightish. There's nothing wrong with a little ish in your life, guys. Feel a little ishy today. Haha. It's going to become my tagline. Feel ishy. All right. So today's string has a diamond in the middle of the tile, and it goes from midpoint These are the approximate midpoints, okay? Now, we're not going to touch. We're going to do a little bit inside, but I wanted to have some place to point at. So I can get this fairly ishy. All right, so we might as well start with this one. What we're going to do is we're going to extend these sides and we're going to go in order. Okay, so that one, and turn the tile like this, turn the tile, and just extend that diamond line straight across. Like this. So this, let me get closer so you can see it. I really need to draw these in a lot darker. I just have to concentrate to do that. All right. I don't think that's going to matter for today because we're going to be doing a lot of inking. And speaking of inking, it might be good for you guys who hate inking to get a larger nibbed pen. I'm going to be using my black Micron PN today. And if you don't have a PN, you might try a 05 or a 08 for this. There will be some inking involved, okay? But working smaller makes this easier. Now, this internal diamond shape, let's make it a square by shifting our tile, okay? Now we have a square. Now we're going to put in our four little teardrop shapes. And remember to keep the points pointing at each other. No, that one's pointing at somebody else. I think that one's a bit big. All right. We're going to ink those anyway, so I'm not too concerned. Close enough. All right. So now, remember, we're just going to start with this inked up one, and we're going to extend this out just a little ways, and we're going to aura that. Just like that, okay? Shift your tile. This point is going to match this point. Yeah? And aura. Take your time. Shift your tile. Point to point. And aura. Try to pay attention where you start and leave off on these auras. Try to match them up as closely as you can. It's not always going to be perfect, but you do the best you can. And aura. Boy, I've got my middle section all tiny again this time. We'll have to make it work, won't we? All right. Now remember, if you come into a spot like that and you're in this area where we're going to ink, if you want to narrow that up a little bit, there's no reason why you can't. Okay, and here we go. All right. Now I'm going to relax myself. Relax. Inking can be stressful, but today we are going to ink without stress. I'm not going to be stressed. I'm going to take a deep breath and slowly and carefully ink in these spaces. Just taking my time, enjoying the feeling of getting all that ink down on the paper. Once you have it nice and dark and inked in and beautiful, move on to your next one. Taking your time. Enjoy the process of laying the ink down on the pen or on the paper. All right. All right, and moving on. Just take your time. Breathe with me, ladies and gentlemen. Breathe. I'm going to give a shout out to Lori Sylvie that I talked to on Instagram. And the young man that has been posting his art for the first time, who is amazing. Really proud of you guys that are posting your art on Instagram. I hope that you will grow confident enough to post it publicly and not just for me. But this is a great start. If you are new to this channel, you can follow me on Instagram at The Tireless Tangler. And we do have a video that's part of the 100 Days Project playlist for 2020 that tells you how to post your art on Instagram and tag me with it. And if you, I probably need to redo that. It was kind of fast and down and dirty. But if you have problems, then let me know. Okay, so we're going to fill each one of these with a nice fat orb that touches all the sides. Okay, I like the fat ones. It wasn't really circular, but yeah, that's why we call them orbs, right, guys? Because an orb is not a circle. All right, now, Cyndee, slow down. I'm going to put one petal from the top here all the way up into the corner, okay? There we go, Cyndee, good job. And these side ones need to touch as well, which was something I wasn't exactly doing correctly with the step out. Now we've got it, okay, like this. And turning our tile, another one. All right, again, into the corner. That's the corner I want and not the corner I initially drew. Probably will lift some of that out on the petal, but the rest of that should be fine. All right, we're cooking now. Once again, into the petal, or into the corner. All right, okay, now let's add our flower flicks. That got a little crazy over there. Those little flicks do such a good job dressing things up, I think. Even when they're terrible, they still dress it up. And I like that about it. It's a good quality to have. All right, now, the other thing in the step out that we didn't show because it's not on the step out on Tangle patterns, but it is on all of the step out art. So I just wanted to point it out, and this is something I'm going to do. That is, in these little spaces, these interstices, as they're called in Zentangle, we're going to just fill in as large an orb as we can, but trying to stay within our string border as closely as possible. And if there's not room, don't worry about it. We're going to ink all of the little spots that are left over. This is another just way of embellishing. You know, I've been decorating stuff all my life. Embellishing is just, yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Oh, forgot a side, didn't I? Take your time, Cyndee. You guys take your time too. It's not just me, it's you too. If I have to, you do too. Come on. All right. Now, let's do our inking here very carefully. Just ink in all of the areas that are between the border line and the design that are not inked. So all of these little spots. And if you have to go up and around something, that's fine too. It's a point of interest, right? That's the way I look at it. This is starting to look pretty, isn't it? And I do like the pretty ones. Sorry, guys, for those of you who are men and don't get down with the pretty, don't worry about it. The pretty is still pretty. But look how dynamic that's becoming. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love this. Love it, love it. Do I want an orb there? We'll stick a tiny one in. So my kid had a great birthday. He had a great party yesterday. Thank you all for your birthday well wishes. Thank you, Diane Jameson, for the lovely, lovely package from Canada. We had fun looking at all of the different things in there. He loved the bandana with the Canadian maple leaf on it. And we love our face masks that you sent. It was just a lovely, wonderful box with lots of shenanigans in there. I am sure at some point I will get squirted in the face with one of those water guns. He needs to remember, though, there are extras in there. Ha ha ha. Extra squirt guns. Don't help me, baby. I have enough trouble on my own. We had a good time, though. His party went beautifully. He got to spend a lot of time with his family, and that is wonderful. Lots of friends. A big bounce house. And we had our friend Coda over last night. He spent the night. Had a lovely time. All right. Just like that, we're finished with this part, right? Now, the question is what to do in all of these 4 spaces. So these are perfect spaces, and you can put anything in there that you would like, anything. So what I want you to do today is pick some of your mac and cheese tangles. Those are tangles that you love to draw. Tangles that bring you comfort, that you just naturally fall into.
Mac and cheese.
Yes, that's what a mac and cheese tangle is. Something that you just, it's comfort food. It's a comfort tangle. It's something you love to draw.
That's mac and cheese you can't eat.
That's mac and cheese you can't eat, buddy. It's food for the soul. All right. All right. So, for me, let me think what I want to do. I'm going to try to resist putting flux in here. I think that might be a little bit too busy. I'm considering changing my pen color and maybe doing blue around here, or I'm not excited by green, but maybe blue. What tangle to use first? All right. What I think I'm going to do I'm still trying to decide whether I want to use brown or blue here. I think I'm going to go ahead and use brown. And I'm going to add poke root and poke leaf, and I'm going to alternate them in each one of these sections, okay? So if you're not familiar with these, I think you can figure it out by watching me. And I'm just going to start over here in this corner. And I'm going to start with poke leaf.
These are both formed the exact same way, except one you put a little point on. Now here I'm going to intentionally ignore my string lines because I want this to be a very organic feeling thing. Let's do this. Now I'm going to draw behind in this instance because this needs to stay on top. And that's how I will shade it. I will shade around this so it lifts it up. Okay. This, if we have extra spaces, we will also fill with orbs. Sorry, got distracted there. Take your time. Poke leaf and poke root are lots of fun. Low pressure tangles. Just a couple of simple strokes. Now I like to alternate the direction that these are drawn in, but you don't have to. I want you to take this and make it your own. Do what you think is best. Because like I always tell you guys, there are no mistakes. You cannot get this wrong. This is your art, your creativity, and your decisions. Whatever comes out is going to be beautiful and worthwhile. Even if you don't like it, it's going to be part of your artistic journey. And that's why I don't like you guys to throw things away. I want you to finish your tiles, finish them all the way to the end, and then decide if they're worthy or not. I think a lot of us found out earlier this year in the 100-day project that that is a true statement. If you will just finish what you're doing, it will be fine. You'll see. All right. Let's try to put a few more in here. I hope you guys are doing well. The heat was horrible for me yesterday. I was so sick. I was so sick. Oh, it was terrible. We were at a park, and the park and the bounce house and everything was perfect. The people were great. Everything was great. I just felt awful. The heat was just so sickening for me. But I endured. It's done. I did it. That's the main thing. And hopefully by next year we can do it inside in the air conditioning. All right. I'm not leaving a lot of room for orbs this time, and that's okay with me. All right, now I drew myself into a little problem over here. Let's see what I can do. I don't want to fly too happy with the other side. I do want a little bit of overlapping to happen. I think we'll draw one behind here. Just like that, problem solved. And just take your time. And even if your lines are wobbly, like mine are, it's going to be okay. What you finish up with is still going to be part of your artistic journey. Good or bad, right or wrong. Now, of course, Zentangle doesn't believe in mistakes, and it doesn't believe in wrong, which is awesome and freeing and a wonderful thing. In the next video, I'm going to share some of Zentangle's feelings about strings and what they say about them. There's a quote I'm trying to think of, the elegance of limits within which we can create or be creative, or something like that. Beautiful quote from the Zentangle kit, starter kit, I think. I love that quote. And it's beautiful because so many times strings take away the fear, I think, of what to put where. At least for me, it really helps to have sections that I can just, drop a pattern into and not worry about, where everything goes. And I think it's wonderful. So one of the things we're going to be exploring over this series is the role that strings play in Zentangle, because this is something that I need. Because you guys know I've been ignoring this. I ignore strings a lot, and that's okay. I feel okay about that. I just yeah. So now I'm going to do poke root. By the way, these are named after an actual plant called poke leaf, or poke root. Or poke root is the plant, or it's a climbing vine. Or is it? It's not really a vine. They're weeds. I have had them in my backyard before. They have really bright purple red bulbs, or little berries on them. And they're really pretty, but they get huge really fast and get out of control if you don't watch them. But I knew immediately what this was named after when I saw this, because I'd had them in my yard. Just fun. So you can see these are formed exactly the same way. It's just that the poke leaf has the big bulb on, or the big point on top. Alright, let's add some orbs here. I hope you guys are relaxing. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you are relaxing. You better be. Of course, you might just need to relax, and that's good too. Just join me, grab a pen. Doesn't have to be a special pen. Doesn't have to be special paper, although that makes the experience that much greater. Just grab a pen and paper, whatever you got, and draw. Next time you're at the store, look for a Pigma Micron and grab one. And then you'll be set. Can't afford the Zentangle tiles? Get some hot press watercolor paper. I recommend Arches very highly because it's 100% cotton. But Fabriano Studios isn't bad. And I have not tried the Arteza yet, but I got an email from them asking if I would do a collaboration with them. So that's Arteza, the art company that makes, art supplies and stuff. So far, I've had really good luck with their products, but I haven't tried a whole lot of them either. Mostly watercolor and fine liners, which I tried to use in our last project, but they didn't work out. They make the micron pen ink bleed. Since we were doing color, that sucked. Alright, nice big fat one over here. And another big fat one over here. Okay, we'll put in a couple of orbs over here. Okay. Do one more. Having problems seeing again. I don't know why that happens. Should talk to my doctor about that, I think. Well, we're not going to worry about it. Because sometimes it happens. Don't sweat the small stuff, my Sean said. Good advice. Good advice. Just make sure you got your priorities straight on what the small stuff is. You'll be all right. Okay. So now, 2 more sections. I'm going to time lapse it, and I'm going to see you in a minute. Just going through and sort of rounding off some of these sharp edges or corners here. Sort of going to make the outside lines look a little bit more dynamic, hopefully. All right. I may go around this again, but this is essentially where I'm going to stop. And you guys have seen me shade poke leaf and poke root before. That's pretty simple. Grab my pencil. So really just, shading where things overlap as always. But really the main thing I want you to shade then is around this element. On the outside of it, because that will pop this up over the background. Oops, I got lost here. Try this again. Make sure you get it nice and dark along the line. I'm going to make that shadow darker and wider on 2 sides and narrower, just a hint, on the other 2. We want a little bit of color, but not too much. Okay. Oh, nice and deep. It may be a little wide, but for now it's fine. And then I am going to lift out this these stray marks that I made when I was redefining my box. There we go, that looks better. Okay, now the only other things I really think about are putting shading in right here and really deepening this. And give it a little bit more of a 3D quality, and I will probably sort of do my orb shading here with the little crescent moon. That will pop that out, although that's hard to do in the same spot on all of them, so I will probably just do it in Zentangle fashion, which is wherever. And once I blend that out, I can lift some out with my eraser if I want to, if I need to. You just want a hint of color on one side in a crescent shape. And normally, as long as your orbs are pretty small, then that will get it done for you. Get rid of any weird spots there. There. Okay. The only other thing I might do is maybe shade a little bit around here, but maybe not, remembering what Annie said about shading on the background or putting like drop shadows on, which is what makes the background become flat, which I loved. So the only other thing I'm going to do is shade here on my poke root and poke leaf a little bit where they overlap. And that's going to be it for me. Oh, I did forget one thing. And that is you do want to shade here where your Celtic knot is overlapping. You want to give these areas a little bit of color. Going and coming. Probably one side needs to be larger than the other, but since I don't deal with light source and all that, I'm not worried about it. All right. This is where I'm going to leave you today. This is my tile. Let's go out, zoom out, put it at arm's length. I always forget this step, and I want to do it this time, and that is the appreciation that comes at the end for what you have created. That is something that I almost always skip through, and that is one of the most important parts of being an artist, I think, is learning to appreciate your own work. Now, I will tell you, this is tough for me. I am the world's worst critic, as most of you know. I have gotten some stern talkings to lately, and that's all right. It makes a difference. And the little things make a difference. So pay attention to the little things. All right, guys. I am going to see you soon, hopefully tomorrow. And I hope you have a good night's sleep. And I'm going to see you for the next lesson. I hope you guys enjoy this format. I need to hear from you in comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you post your art on Instagram, don't forget to tag me at The Tireless Tangler. Thanks, guys, so much, and I'm going to see you tomorrow.